Well, so let me just introduce my guests for the next half hours. We conclude the show with our talk. And Kweku Ricketts-Hagan is a member of Parliament for Cape Coast South, but also a Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry. And thanks for joining me, Kweku.
Thank you.
All right, and he's been joined by Nana Boakye. He's a member of the MPP's communication team. And the two of them will help us do justice to the main issues we'll be looking at this morning. But particularly, we'll be dwelling on the subject of the economy. And we know that the finance minister ultimately went before the House to issue a statement, or to brief the House, so to speak, in a statement. Even though, according to what the minority had said, they early on had been told about is there a budget statement or a relook at the budget statement, so to speak, for the current financial year. But let's go on to the main subjects of the day, and we'll do some 5 minutes on it because we had done an hour's discussion on it. And we know that Woyome had been acquitted of the criminal charges at the High Court. Of course, the Attorney General still has a chance for an appeal and then go to the Supreme Court as well. What's your observation on the subject the last 24 hours?
Yes, thank you very much, and good morning to those who are watching us and listening to us. It's been an interesting, interesting case. It's a case that I believe was tried in the public domain, actually, before.
You mean it's more of a public and media trial?
Yes, before it got to court. So we all had our opinion on, what we think the judgment is. So I'm not surprised that, a lot of people are upset, that, the judgment went the way that it did. I have heard people talk about, whether the Attorney General's department is competent or incompetent, but for me, that is really not the issue. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, and I won't pretend to be one, but, sometimes you take a case to court, you win, sometimes you lose. But, why do you lose a case? You lose a case either because you don't prepare well, or you lose a case because there was no case in the first place. So it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that it has to end this way. But I heard the Attorney General saying that obviously they're not going to stop there. And hopefully, we'll see if something comes out of it. But for me, at the end of the day, it's about getting the money back. It's the more I think about this, and if this guy was really able to do what he did, I think it's what is sickening about the whole thing. When we talk about corruption, every day, and then you think about, could he pull this off? Just by himself, or there were some, collaborators. And it's sort of, for us, those of us who are politicians, it's sort of, as they say, one apple can spoil the whole lot. And that is what I get worried about. But as far as the legal, the guy has been able to do it and get away with it,
We call it the rule of law, is that not it? Okay.
Yes.
Nana Boakye.
Oh, thank you very much. Good morning to your viewers as well.
And good morning, Toby.
Yeah, to you, yeah. I am a disappointed Ghanaian. For me, I'm not a lawyer yet, but right from the very moment these charges were preferred against Mr. Woyome, a lot of legal luminaries contended that it cannot be sustained. You can't prove it. Right? Number one, when you charge somebody for defrauding by false pretense, when earlier on the person had gone to the commercial court, right, to secure a default judgment. And don't forget, a default judgment, Mr. Woyome went to court once, and then he even amended his statement on 3 good occasions. The Attorney General never entered appearance, the Attorney General never entered defense, and then he was given default judgment. In fact, even if you recall, he was even given a default judgment to the tune of close to about 101 million Ghana cedis. And then the Attorney General, realizing that the money was too huge, he then went back to court and then contended that the monies, they want to enter into a consent judgment, they want to negotiate. They negotiated, they came back to court, and there was a consent judgment again given for 51 million Ghana cedis. It was supposed to have been paid by installment. The first installment was paid, and then Attorney General again ran back to court, saying that there was a mistake. And then the court said, okay, no. fine, there's a mistake. Then you pay the 17 million, but then the man will be unable to touch the monies. And then we go into the merits of the case. When you succeed in your claim, then the person will bring back the 17 million. When you don't, and then you pay everything to the person. On the blind side of that, the court and then government, the monies were paid. Right? So earlier on we said defrauding by false pretense, because you have not gone to court to set aside the commercial court ruling on that default judgment, you cannot sustain that charge. And then the second one too was woefully causing financial loss to the state. It is amazing. Somebody who is not a public official, how can the person woefully cause financial loss to the state?
But he's a Ghanaian.
No, he is a Ghanaian. I'm told that the laws are being amended to suit that effect, but it's very difficult to prove that. Especially when
somebody who is not in public office.
Yeah, somebody who is not.
How can that person ultimately take decisions that will result?
If you're able to lead evidence to the effect that indeed that private person did that, I mean, the court would, yes, rule in your favor. Yes, okay. Uphold that argument. But then in this case, remember that some public officials were arrested initially, and then they were set free, Mr. Nikwe Tete, and it was evident, it was on record that a 400,000 amount of money had been transferred from Woyome's account to the...
True, but it doesn't prove anything, does it?
No, that is what I'm trying to say. So if you let those persons go, those major architects, and that is what the judge said. The judge was very emphatic on that. He said, if you don't bring these major architects to court, if they are not part of this whole cabal...
He used the phrase major architect?
Oh, yes. He used it. If all
have you gotten the judgment yet?
Oh, I've requested for one. I'm told it's been posted into my email. But then at least yesterday I had...
The judicial service has electronically given you the report?
No, not judicial service. I think
somehow.
There's, yes,
right.
There's a lawyer friend.
Let's leave it at that.
No, let
because I know formally the judgment will be ready, we're told, in 2 weeks on paper.
On paper?
Yes.
Oh, no, but electronically it can be given out.
No, that would have been illegal. But let's conclude on this.
Sometimes documents can be intercepted anyway. Yes, but on a more serious point, the judge used words like shoddy work. He used words like irresponsible.
You mean criticizing the prosecution?
Criticizing that. And you see, right from the commencement of this case, the judge had so many reasons and so many causes to lambast.
Let's conclude on this. Because I see that you've adequately read and followed the subject. So if I start with you, the next one I won't finish with you.